You are watching the ancient world come to life before your very eyes. The sun rises over the endless Mesopotamian desert, and with it, a new era begins. From the ashes of the Great Flood, humanity will strive to rebuild. Only this time, God said, "Let us make man fully capable of good and evil, knowing both the light and the darkness of human nature." As the centuries pass, the people grow in number and wealth, and as they spread out across the face of the earth, their descendants will become known as the sons of men, and among them one man stands above the rest. In the fertile plains of Sumer, we find Kish, the cradle of civilization, where mankind takes its first steps towards greatness and gives birth to kings. One among them will be named Nimrod, the mighty hunter. So join us now as we explore the enigmatic legacy of history's most fearsome warrior and discover the secrets of his three legendary lost cities, Erech, Akkad, and Nineveh. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button for more videos. And while you're at it, don't miss out. Subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so you never miss an upload. Our story begins with a faded map of ancient Sumer, the mythical land between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates, whose borders glow with golden light. As we pan across its edge, we see the faint outlines of other empires to come, Akkad and Babylon, whose borders burn like parchment consumed by flame. For it is here that, according to Genesis 10, the descendants of Shem settle after the Great Flood, where they would establish some of the first great kingdoms of human history. But all we have to show for them today are crumbling ruins and fragmented texts, barely a whisper of their former glory. So let us bring them back to life with the help of some old friends. Here we see a powerful silhouette of Nimrod, the mighty hunter, king of the ancient Mesopotamian Empire, wearing his crown and holding a long bow slung across his shoulder. He stands on top of a half-built ziggurat as workers scurry about laying bricks and hauling up timber. His gaze sweeps across the horizon, surveying his domain, a vast and fertile plain watered by the meandering Tigris and Euphrates rivers, where mankind has set about the task of rebuilding civilization from the dust of the Great Flood. With him, the likes of Shem, Arphaxad, Eber, Peleg, and Joktan, four of Shem's 5 sons who settled in Mesopotamia after the flood. We see them worshipping God in the midst of a great high place. Nearby, Nimrod's grandson, the famed builder and inventor, is putting the finishing touches on a magnificent ziggurat dedicated to the moon god. Nana, its many terraces adorned with cedar columns, richly decorated walls, and steep pyramids, rising towards heaven. At the base, artisans craft intricate works of art, including one depicting Nimrod slaying a fearsome dragon, symbolizing his dominion over chaos and his victory over the forces of evil. Onlookers gather around a scribe copying cuneiform script onto a clay tablet, while in the center of town, merchants trade precious goods and livestock in a bustling marketplace. Then suddenly, the scene shifts as Nimrod enters a vast hall lined with precious metals and gemstones. We see him offering sacrifices to the gods while priests chant and beat drums. On the wall, a massive sundial marks the hours as servants pour libations and lay out a sumptuous feast fit for royalty. As Nimrod surveys his kingdom, he feels a growing discontent within him, a desire for power and recognition. He seeks to build a city unlike any other, a city that will bear his name and become a monument to his glory. In fact, archaeological evidence confirms that 3 such cities did exist: Erech, Akkad, and Nineveh, whose combined population may have reached 500,000 people, making them some of the largest cities in the ancient world. Nimrod, the mighty hunter, is first mentioned in Genesis 10:8-12, where he is described as the son of Cush, grandson of Ham and great-grandson of Noah. According to tradition, he became famous for hunting wild animals, taming horses, and establishing settlements in the land of Sumer. Some scholars believe he was a historical figure based on accounts from ancient texts, while others argue he was a mythological hero or anti-hero representing a period of humanity's early cultural development. His story is told through fragments of ancient texts like the Epic of Gilgamesh, which describes a great flood sent by the gods to wipe out humanity, much like the biblical account in Genesis. Scholars believe these tales reflect real events from Mesopotamian history, perhaps drawing inspiration from local folklore and traditions passed down through oral tradition for generations before being written down on clay tablets. The first city we encounter on our tour is Erech, also known as Uruk, located near modern-day Eridu, Iraq. According to ancient texts, it was founded by Arphaxad, the second son of Shem. However, Nimrod played a significant role in its growth and prosperity. Legend says he built impressive city walls made of baked brick, a radical departure from the mud brick used previously, along with watchtowers and a grand palace complex. These innovations signified a new era in human history, marked by increased sophistication and technological advancement. We see Nimrod leading a team of oxen, dragging heavy logs to a construction site where workers lift them into place using ramps and levers. Scribe copies architectural plans onto a clay tablet, while other scribes record transactions and inventory for tax purposes. Within the city, merchants display their wares, including textiles, pottery, tools, and weapons. Artisans meticulously craft items, while farmers transport their produce to market. Alongside them, herdsmen tend to flocks of sheep and goats, ensuring they have enough wool and milk to sustain the growing population. As the city flourishes under Nimrod's rule, we see him celebrating his victories with a magnificent feast, complete with music, dancing, and games. Citizens of all ages participate in religious ceremonies honoring gods like Anunnaki, Enlil, Enki, and Ishtar, reflecting the polytheistic beliefs prevalent in Mesopotamian culture. Despite the progress and prosperity during Nimrod's reign, challenges and conflicts loomed on the horizon as the population grew and resources became more scarce. Tensions arose between city-states, laying the groundwork for future struggles and conquests. Next, we journey to Akkad, located near modern-day Baghdad, Iraq. Tradition holds that Akkad was established by the grandson of Shem, but Nimrod is credited with expanding and fortifying it. According to ancient texts, he constructed towering city walls, adorned with intricate carvings of mythical creatures and heroic deeds. The palace complex featured spacious halls and courtyards, decorated with vibrant murals depicting scenes from daily life, religious ceremonies, and military campaigns. Within Akkad, skilled craftsmen produced exquisite metalwork, ceramics, and textiles, contributing to the city's reputation for artistry and refinement. Merchants traveled from distant lands to trade their goods, bringing exotic spices, precious stones, and rare materials to the bustling markets. The streets teemed with activity as merchants hawked their wares, farmers sold their produce, and artisans displayed their latest creations. Under Nimrod's leadership, Akkad became a hub of intellectual and cultural exchange, attracting scholars, poets, and philosophers from across Mesopotamia. They gathered in public spaces and scholarly institutions, discussing topics ranging from astronomy to mathematics, literature, and theology. This intellectual ferment contributed to the preservation and dissemination of knowledge, ensuring that the advancements of past civilizations were not forgotten but built upon. Yet, despite its grandeur and cultural achievements, Akkad faced internal strife and external threats that tested the strength and unity of its people. Rebellions and usurpations were not uncommon, and neighboring city-states often vied for dominance, creating a climate of uncertainty and potential conflict. Lastly, we reach Nineveh, situated near modern-day Mosul, Iraq. According to tradition, Nineveh was originally a small settlement, but under Nimrod's rule, it was transformed into a thriving metropolis. Ancient texts praise its extensive city walls, strategic placement near the Tigris River, and the magnificence of its palaces and temples. Among its notable structures was the Palace of the Assyrian Kings, renowned for its lavish decorations, secret passages, and expansive gardens. Religious sanctuaries dedicated to deities like Nabu and Marduk showcased the city's religious fervor and commitment to the divine. Nimrod, deeply involved in religious affairs, is depicted leading processions of priests and commoners during festivals and rituals, emphasizing the intertwining of political and spiritual authority in Mesopotamian society. Nineveh's strategic location facilitated trade along the Royal Road, a network connecting Mesopotamia to distant regions. Merchants from various cultures converged on Nineveh, bringing with them an array of goods and ideas. The city's prosperity and cultural richness were further enhanced by the influx of foreign influences, making it a melting pot of diverse traditions and customs. During Nimrod's reign, Nineveh enjoyed relative peace and stability, allowing its citizens to flourish economically and culturally. However, the seeds of decline were sown by Nimrod's own ambitions and the growing discontent among his subjects. His oppressive policies, coupled with the city's increasing distance from traditional religious centers, created a breeding ground for unrest and rebellion. As our tour concludes, we find ourselves in a ruined temple adorned with weathered statues of gods and mythical creatures, silent witnesses to a bygone era. Around us, fallen pillars and crumbling walls bear silent testimony to the once resplendent cities of Erech, Akkad, and Nineveh. A lone eagle circles overhead, its keen eyes scanning the desolate landscape for signs of life. And then there is Nimrod, the mighty hunter, his name whispered on the wind like a forgotten legend. Did his empire defy God and establish a dominion of darkness, or did it illuminate the dawn of human civilization with the fires of ambition and innovation? What secrets lie buried beneath the desert sands, waiting to be unearthed by modern scholars? And how does the legacy of Nimrod continue to shape the world even today? From the heights of the ziggurat, he looked out over his vast empire, dreaming of even greater conquests and glory. Yet, as the years passed, his insatiable hunger for power and recognition led him and his followers farther away from the teachings of his grandfather Noah and the covenant God had made with all living creatures. When God saw how great and terrible this city was, which Nimrod had built, he feared that if men continued to prosper and unite together in such great numbers, they would use their strength to defy him. So, in a moment of divine wisdom, God scattered the people as they were building the tower, confusing their language so they could no longer understand each other. And thus the project was abandoned, and the city remained unfinished, hidden beneath the shifting sands of time until modern archaeologists uncovered its secrets. For though Nimrod and his descendants achieved great things in the annals of human history, they also sowed the seeds of violence and oppression, setting in motion a chain of events that would lead to untold suffering and bloodshed throughout the ancient world. As the sun sets over the Mesopotamian desert, casting long shadows over the ruins of Erech, Akkad, and Nineveh, we are left to ponder the legacy of Nimrod, the mighty hunter. Was he a visionary leader who advanced civilization, or a ruthless conqueror who oppressed his people? And what is the true extent of his influence on the course of human history? Perhaps the answers lie buried beneath the desert sands, lost to time and tantalizingly out of reach. One thing is certain: the story of Nimrod continues to captivate and intrigue, reminding us of the complexities of human nature and the enduring allure of the past. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. Don't forget to hit the like button for more fascinating historical tours. Subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so you never miss an upload. And why not share this adventure with your friends and family? Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.